Kentucky's rural radio crisis, fighting to stay on air, public media funding cuts. Imagine the quiet hum of a rural radio station, a lifeline for communities tucked away in the heart of America. These stations, often the sole source of news and entertainment, are now facing an uncertain future due to Congress's recent funding cuts for public media. This decision could have a profound impact on the vital services these stations provide, especially in areas that depend on them for crucial information. This year marks the 40th anniversary of WMMT 88.7 FM, broadcasting out of Whitesburg in Letcher County, Kentucky. However, this milestone is overshadowed by new challenges brought on by Congress's recent rescission package. If signed into law, this package would claw back over $1 billion already allocated to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB. Tiffany Sturdivant, the executive director of Appalshop, emphasizes the critical role of CPB funding. "The funding we've received for over 30 years from CPB is indispensable," she says. "It has been instrumental in amplifying the voices of those who are underserved and underrepresented in our community." About one-third of WMMT's budget comes from CPB funding, which supports not just arts and entertainment, but also public safety information and emergency weather forecasts. During the devastating floods of 2022, the radio was a lifeline for many Eastern Kentuckians, providing essential information when it was needed most. But here's where it gets controversial. The future of these vital services is now entangled in national politics. Sturdivant estimates that WMMT has about a year to prepare for potential budget cuts. When asked about the station's next steps, Sturdivant is clear. "We continue to show up," she told LX18. "We continue to reach out to our legislators. We continue to do programming. Right now, I'm in the studio and we've got 2 community DJs on the air doing their thing. We continue to keep going. We press forward." This resilience is a hallmark of the people in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, where closing the doors is simply not an option. WMMT broadcasts 24 hours a day, reaching listeners across southeast Kentucky, southwest Virginia, southern West Virginia, portions of East Tennessee, and western North Carolina. Another station facing similar challenges is WMKY in Moorhead, which also relies on CPB funding for about one-third of its budget. Paul Hitchcock, the general manager of WMKY, wrote in an op-ed for the Herald-Leader, "While NPR and PBS often take the spotlight, it's the local stations in rural communities that depend on CPB support to provide local news, music, and emergency information. And this is the part most people miss. The impact of these funding cuts goes beyond just entertainment. It affects the very fabric of these communities, where radio stations are more than just a source of music. They're a lifeline during emergencies." So, what do you think? Should Congress prioritize funding for public media, especially in rural areas where these stations play a crucial role? Or do you believe there are other areas that need more urgent funding? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Will loss of public TV funding endanger beloved shows? The unpalatable truth. Is America about to spit out a national treasure? Imagine a childhood without the cheerful beak of Big Bird or the lovable grumpiness of Oscar the Grouch. Sounds unthinkable, right? Yet, the latest blow to public radio TV funding has left many wondering, are beloved characters like these on the chopping block? As columnist Keith Kappas, I'm reminded of my Uncle Richard's humorous weight loss hack, spitting out anything that tastes too good. Similarly, it seems opponents of public broadcasting are willing to sacrifice the sweet successes of cultural and educational programming to condemn perceived national biases in news coverage. The controversy unfolds. Recently, Kentucky Educational Television, KT, announced it would no longer broadcast the esteemed Fancy Farm political speaking event, a launchpad and sometimes graveyard for numerous statewide political careers in Kentucky. This decision stems from the impending elimination of federal funding for public radio and television by Congress and the Trump administration. The ripple effects are far-reaching. Asterisk local impact. KT may have to reduce or eliminate valuable programming, dealing a severe blow to Kentucky's public radio stations, such as WMKY, which has served Carter and surrounding counties from Moorhead State University for 60 years. Asterisk national consequences. The very existence of iconic shows like Sesame Street, Antiques Roadshow, The NewsHour, This Old House, and Nature hangs in the balance. Can we truly envision a future where these educational staples are no longer accessible to the next generation? But here's where it gets controversial. Is the perceived bias in national news coverage a justifiable reason to defund public broadcasting, potentially silencing a broad spectrum of educational and cultural voices? Or are there alternative solutions that could address these concerns without sacrificing the greater good that public broadcasting provides? We want to hear from you. Asterisk, do you believe the benefits of public broadcasting outweigh the perceived drawbacks? Asterisk, should alternative funding models be explored to preserve these national treasures? Asterisk, share your thoughts. Are we indeed on the cusp of losing something truly invaluable? Contact Keith at keithcaps@gmail.com to join the conversation. KT Resume's Fancy Farm coverage, thanks to generous donation. Kentucky Politics 2025. Public broadcasting funding crises strike at the heart of community traditions, but a surprising lifeline just saved a Kentucky institution. Kentucky Educational Television, KT, announced today it will cover the iconic Fancy Farm political gathering after all, reversing its earlier cancellation. This 11th-hour revival comes courtesy of what KT calls a generous donation from corporate partner Kentucky Chamber. Here's why this matters. KT had initially axed coverage due to federal rescission bill cuts that slashed public broadcasting funding nationwide. But here's where it gets controversial. Should essential public services rely on corporate philanthropy to survive? KT CEO Shay Hopkins praised the Chamber's intervention, calling it crucial for preserving this decades-long tradition of broadcasting the event to viewers statewide. The August 2nd event, famous for its raucous political speeches and grassroots energy, will now get its usual spotlight. But this raises bigger questions. Are we comfortable with corporations becoming de facto funders of public journalism? Should government prioritize restoring these cuts? Weigh in below. Do donations compromise objectivity, or are they necessary stopgaps in our current climate?